Hi friends, thank you so much for joining me for this video. This is going to be a big look at everything in the Too Faced Peach collection. I was sent the whole line. I'm very grateful for that I had the entire collection to look through and really draw some comparisons. And in this video, I'm going to show it all to you. I'm going to be putting it all on, creating the look that I have on here. And as we go, I'm going to be discussing the formulas, what I think of them. Some things I think are non-essential in this line. I mean, it's really easy to get so swallowed up by how adorable the packaging on everything is. But what you come to me for and what I'm going to be giving you in this video is, what are the essentials? Let's boil it down. Let's really look at what's unique here. What are the main contributors to giving you a great look from this collection? And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. Now, this whole line, there are peaches on everything. Everything's smelling like peaches. I can tell you that I inhaled some of that powder and it tasted like peaches. Now, I didn't deliberately inhale it, but it was like floating through my airspace here, and yeah, it's tasted peachy. And if you don't like peaches and you don't like that scent, then you can just leave. No, I'm just kidding. It might not be for you if you are not all about that peachy scent, because it is all throughout this collection. And let me tell you, there's some great things in this line, but I also think there are some things that are not really necessities. And the reason why this video kind of jumped my video to-do list was because I thought a lot of people would be excited about this line. And if you were anything like me, there were certain things that when I saw sneak peeks of this collection, I was really excited about. Like I would have, had I not been sent the whole PR package, there were bits and pieces that I was just ready to jump on and purchase. And those were maybe some of the things that I wasn't as impressed with or as enamored by in this line. So I'll explain it all as I go. Keep on watching. Okay, so first things first, I have moisturized my skin all over, and I'm going to use this Primed and Peachy Cooling Matte Skin Perfecting Primer. And it seems like this whole collection is geared toward a soft matte look on the skin. And I do really like that idea. It makes a lot of sense because when you think of an actual peach, it's got that peach fuzz on it. It's not a real shiny fruit. It's a soft, kind of matte looking fruit. And so this is what this primer looks like, by the way. It is soft and peachy, and it has that peach scent to it. And even though for whatever reason I'm a little stuffy this morning, I don't know if it's allergies, changing seasons, what it is, but I've already moisturized and I'm just blending this in all over, and it is kind of cooling as advertised, and it also does mattify. I always look for that right around my nose area because the tip of my nose always picks up a lot of shine, and I feel like this totally did mattify. And I like the primer. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I don't think it gives my skin some kind of super silky softness. It's not doing exactly what Smashbox Photo Finish does, or Too Faced had a primer called, I think, Primed and Poreless, and it was a really silky smooth feel. Here, my skin actually feels a little bit extra hydrated, yet it is matte, which is kind of odd, and it is cooling, so I like that whole sensation. Next up, we're going to use the Comfort Matte Foundation, and I am using this in the shade Natural Beige. It says oil-free, 14-hour wear, oil controlling, and photo-friendly. So I am not in a place where I'm needing a whole lot of oil control, although things like that do tend to benefit me around the T-zone where I inevitably get a little bit shiny at some point. And I'm going to use my little e.l.f. brush here. I don't know if you guys saw my e.l.f. updated one brand tutorial, but I'm putting 2 pumps of this product in that little hole. Yep, e.l.f.'s made a foundation brush with a hole in it, and so I kind of dab it all around, and then I'm gonna just buff it in from there. And this foundation really, the first time I used it, blew me away with the coverage. I was not expecting so much coverage, but yet, we're working with a matte foundation here, and matte foundations can look a little bit more fully perfected than super dewy foundations do. So I'm really seeing the effects of that. I didn't really dwell on this, but the packaging design of both the primer and the foundations is kind of like the IT Cosmetics CC cream. It's got the pump, but also the squeezy tube here. And now there is not a peach concealer, but I'm gonna just stick with the Too Faced line for consistency here, and I'm gonna pull out my Born This Way concealer in light medium, and I'm gonna dab this a little bit here on the under eye, down the nose. I mean, I'm not in need of a ton of extra coverage. I'm just using this more for like brightening and kind of contrast, basically. And I'll just go over it a little bit with this foundation brush first. And hit those innermost areas here. So feeling very good about the way the skin looks right now, totally evened out, definitely matte. I feel like it's, you know, the foundation definitely was delivering on its claims. And to be honest with you, if I was in a big hurry, I don't even know that concealer was super essential here. So I'm really impressed by the coverage. But now we're gonna go in with the Peach Perfect setting powder. And this says mattifying loose setting powder infused with peach and sweet fig cream. The sweet fig cream is another element of this, but you don't see figs on any of the packaging. Ooh. It comes out and I swear I'm tasting the powder when that opens. Like I'm inhaling the powder and like tasting it in my system here. Weird, but cool kind of. So the powder does have a slight light peachy tint to it. I wouldn't call it like a bold peach, but there's a definite tone to this powder and it is most certainly mattifying. I feel like my skin looked pretty perfected beforehand, but this goes the extra mile here, like on the under eye area, just elsewhere on the face. I feel like it takes the surface of my skin and everything just looks so dang smooth after this. Seriously, so even, so matte. It kind of disguises some little lines here and there. It definitely disguises pores. And I think the way they're pulling this off without it looking too heavy is just the fact that this powder is so incredibly fine. You know, you saw when I opened this little cap up, which by the way, I love that there's the little stopper cap here. But when you open that up, you know, some of the product's gonna just go airborne and it's gonna basically feel like it's pouring almost like liquid into your cap. I mean, it's that fine of a powder. So when you put that on your skin, assuming you don't like way overuse it, it's going to not look like too much, but it is really achieving the mattifying effect and the brightening effect for me. Oh, love the powder, and you can taste the powder. It's so weird. A new formula that seems to be introduced with this line is called melting powder, and they've got a few like cream products, and this is, I think, arguably the cutest packaging in this line. Look how they look like actual little peach compacts here, and there's a blush, there's something called Peach Frost, like a highlight, and then there is also this melting powder bronzer in Toasted Peach. So that looks like this. They're all just so adorable. And this was one of those things in the line where when I was seeing sneak peeks, this was what I was most intrigued about. I really, you know, I saw that they were coming out with a foundation in this line, but I wasn't thinking like, oh, I have to have it or anything. But it was this formula and this packaging that just appealed to me so much. So what it is, it feels very creamy. You know, you feel like you're touching a traditional, let's say cream bronzer. It is kind of domed up in the packaging there, but it feels creamy. Now you start to blend that layer of product out on your skin and it feels immediately dry. Okay, I wouldn't even so much call it cream to powder because it doesn't even feel powdery. It just feels dry, like it very much stays in place. It's not like moving around on the skin like a powder might. It just goes from this creamy feel to a drier feel. What I'm going to do is actually take a little bit of this with my finger and I'm going to patch a little bit of this bronzer around the hairline, and then I'm going to use my small stipple brush to just kind of blend that in. And you can see it blends in pretty well. It's kind of subtle. I mean, I'm not the hugest fan of cream bronzers. And I also feel like for this collection itself, we have gone to great lengths, it seems, to mattify our skin and get this just even, really pretty soft matte look. And then you come in with creams, and sometimes it can kind of, I won't say undo the effect because these aren't like super dewy or anything, but you do have to work a slight bit harder to blend these in than you might just a regular powder product, you know? The texture of these is cool. Like if you see them in a Sephora, you might swatch them out, see what you think of it. But to me, it's not like blowing my mind. So that's the bronzer kind of blended in a little bit around the hairline, a little bit in the hollows of the cheeks. You know, it's okay. I'm not like jumping up and down over it. But then they got this Sweetie Pie Radiant Matte Bronzer. And this, again, infused with peach and sweet fig cream. And this is seriously adorable packaging. And when this first came, it had a little overspray of gold on this little lattice part here. So this looks like a pie. I can appreciate that. My mom makes like the best pies ever. It was cute, and the gold on there almost made me think of like a sprinkling of powdered sugar. I'm usually mad at overspray, but this was so light. It was like very clear that that was not an intended aspect of this product, and after a couple of uses it would be gone. I mean, I've used this probably 4 times already. There is no trace of the overspray anymore, so it's not going to continue to like annoy you forever if you don't like that. But what we've got here are kind of like 3 tones of bronzer, from very light to a little bit deeper tan, and peeking through there are some little pops of peach there. So I just kind of dab my brush all over this, and I am going to go ahead and just warm the skin up a bit. This does offer, I think, a little extra radiance to the skin. It's called a radiant matte bronzer, and I can kind of, I don't know, I see where they're coming from, because it's not super like shiny glowy off the charts, but it's also like not quite as matte as, let's say, that loose powder that I put on, you know. Some of these shades in here have like a little satin finish, so I can pick up on that. And this product, while I think it's pretty, it's, again, it's more about the cuteness factor of the way it looks. I'm not like gaga over how it looks on my skin. It's not doing anything super different. So that's sort of my take on both of the bronzery things in this line. Now back to that melting powder formula, there's also a blush. Actually, I think there are multiple shades of blush, but the shade I have is So Peachy, and this is very vibrant, is it not? And I can assure you it blends out that very same way that the other does. You know, once it hits skin, once like a light swatch of it hits your skin, you blend over it and it just seems dry. And it really does have some staying power. I have noticed that. And here I'm just going to go straight to the product with my brush. I'm just going to start blending this out here on the apple of my cheek. And it's a gorgeous shade of blush. Like, I absolutely love this color for this whole look that I'll be creating. You know, there's going to be a peachy eye. There's going to be, you know, maybe a nudish lip with this look. And this cheek just looks so dang fresh. So I can't argue with the shade at all. I just think it's kind of funny that they came out with these creams and you're making this effort to have all this nice matte coverage on your skin with the powder and the foundation. And then you have to go on top with this cream, which granted it blends easily and it does have good staying power. It's just a little bit more effort than it would be to blend a powder blush across your skin. But my word, is that not a stunning color of blush? Can you see I'm kind of on the fence with this product? Then the last element of that melting powder line is the Peach Frost highlight. Same deal here. It's feeling like cream in the compact, and then when applied to the skin, instantly dry. And this highlight is not off the charts shimmery. Can you just see that streak that I made across the skin? It's a soft glow, and this is not a whole collection that's all about glow, you know? It's very much about like soft, matte, but maybe a hint of glow, and that's what this is giving me here. It looks pretty enough, you know? I'm just blending this in with my fingers. I'm just kind of buffing it in a light circular motion, trying not to press too hard to undo like what I did with concealer and whatnot. And then finally, they have a finishing powder. It's a translucent smoothing finishing powder called Peach Blur, and it's in a little square compact here. This is what the product looks like inside the pan. You try to swatch it, you really don't see much. I mean, it seems like kind of a barely there layer of powder that you end up getting off of this. I'm gonna apply a little bit of this just right here on the skin. I have used this multiple times and I'm not seeing major effects. Like sometimes I think it's just in my head when I think I am seeing a little something from this powder. I don't know. It's just, it's not going to be one of those things that you immediately use and you see a massive impact from. I gotta be honest, I don't see much happening. And if I haven't said it enough this video, all this stuff's smelling like peach, all right? It's all smelling peachy. And then we got Peach Mist Mattifying Setting Spray. So it says to shake this up, and I have used this a time or two when I swear there are little tiny specks of powder perhaps coming out of this. I'm not positive, but I think that's what's happening here, maybe to help with the mattified look. I'm not sure, but I'm going to do a few spritzes. I don't think I'm seeing any powder flecks this time, but that definitely smells peachy. I mean, if you are all about that peach scent and you want it in a setting spray, I mean, it is here for you. I didn't feel like my skin looked overly powdery and heavy, like I had a big, you know, something that I wanted to undo with the setting spray at the end of my face look here, which is good because that's not really going to do it for me anyway. It is a mattifying setting mist. It does not add a bunch of instant dew to your skin the way some do. To me, this is kind of another one of those non-essential parts of the line. It's like, yeah, if you love the scent and you're all about it, you might want it in a mist or whatever. It's nice, it's not bad, although I think a lot of setting sprays could get the job done for you. And there are just other things. Like if you're being really picky and kind of choosy about the line, I think there are other things that are must-haves. And this is kind of an accessory item that, yeah, it's okay, but it's not like the best. Now for lips, I was sent what I think are just a random little trio here of lipsticks in this line. It's a very cute packaging design. It's cream, and then there's a little gold like peach logo right down here, and then the color is sort of indicated on the tops of the lipsticks. So I have a berry shade called Drunk Dial. I mean, like a really pretty sangria type color. I love that. And then I've got a couple of nudes. I've got Doll Face and I've got Sunday Funday. Sunday Funday is a little bit, you know, deeper, kind of a spice type tan nude. I think I'm going to work in both of these shades actually. Now we're talking matte lipsticks with this collection. They glide on easily. They're not at all like dried. I don't feel any skipping across the lips as I apply them. So that's Sunday Funday mostly on my lips, and then I think I'm going to dab a little bit of this Doll Face shade just in the center here. Very, very light, like peach nude in this color. Oh, they smell so good. Really pure peach scent with these lipsticks. Absolutely beautiful shade here. I mean, I can't argue with the color payoff with these. I think the staying power is nice. It's kind of like as you would expect for a matte lipstick. I usually have a little higher staying power expectation when the lipstick is matte as opposed to when it's a like cream formula. All that being said, it's not maybe the most outstanding part of the line for me. Maybe if you've got a shade that you really, really love, or you know, this special looking packaging, you want to give one of these as a gift to someone, I can see that. But I've got a lot of lip colors that are this general shade. There are tons of mattes out there these days. It's beautiful, but it's not maybe the most essential part of the line. Now I'm gonna do my brows real quick and then I'll join you with the eye look. Okay, so face is done, lips are done, brows are finished now. The only thing left is the palette, and this is the Just Peachy Mattes palette. It says Velvet Matte Eyeshadow Palette infused with peach and sweet fig cream. Again, figs, where you at? Maybe Too Faced is just waiting. They're holding out on us with the fig, and there's gonna be a huge fig collection later. But this is the palette, all mattes. We've seen a lot of all matte palettes, I feel like, from different brands these days. I will say that I have been a longtime supporter and lover of the Too Faced matte formula. Their natural matte palette, I think, is one of the best neutral matte palettes out there. When I saw that this was going to be a fully matte palette, I thought, yes, finally from Too Faced, more mattes, because the matte formula really does tend to be the strength in their different palettes. I mean, they do some nice shimmers. They even do some nice, like, kind of sparkle infused shades, but their mattes are very creamy, very fully pigmented, really easy to work with, and I was just happy to see a palette chock full of them, including shades that I'm really happy to work with, like these warm peach colors, warm browns up in here, nice deep wine colors. You've got a really rich, like dark chocolate brown down here, so it's really everything you need if you like peachy warm looks and you like a little berry mixed in. So for me, for this look, I'm going to start with Peach Tea right up here. And this is kind of a nice, just tan neutral shade. And I did prime the lids, by the way, with a little Milani eyeshadow primer. And I'm just going to work this shade all throughout the crease. This is going to be, you know, a fully matte look. And as I've been experimenting with this collection and just, you know, using all the face products in this palette too, I just thought, yeah, you know, it makes sense. It looks so velvety smooth. Like my mom the other day, she was like, your skin looks so soft and nice. And I was like, yeah, it's the peach matte stuff. So that's Sweet Tea just buffed out big time all over the crease and beyond. I'm gonna blend out the edge of that a little bit. And then I realized a highlight shade that I really like is when I take peach butter and a little dab of just Peachy and just blend that right here under the brow. Because these light cream shades, both of these two, they're very pigmented and they can be a little loud there actually. You know, they came to play. And if you put them right under the brow and you might apply a little too much of one of those, it can be a little bit much. So I like to add a little bit of just Peachy to one of them, and it just seems like a nice little soft blurred effect. So we are so blurred, we are so matte and blended right now. I want to work in some of the color of this palette. So yes, we're gonna go to Pink Punch with a flat brush. Tap off a little excess. There is some excess to be tapped off, by the way. For all y'all who can't stand powdery fallout, I mean, you're not gonna see a lot of that kicked up, but you will see it a little bit tapping off the brush. So I like this shade right here on the center of my lid. Kind of recreating one of my favorite looks that I did with this so far. And then take a little bit of just Peachy, and that's gonna be my slightly lighter shade right in here. Inner third of the eyelid. Okay, then the one shade that I have noticed a little satin finish actually on in this palette is Peach Sangria. I don't know if you can see it in a close-up here, but this shade right here by my thumb there, that has just a little bit of a satin finish to the naked eye, but then you see it on your lids and I guess it doesn't really have that look to it. You know, it's just kind of looking at it concentrated in the palette. But I like this shade. Just pat it out right here. I love how you have the option with this palette of creating some gorgeous berry looks. Like you could go berry, you could leave out Peach Punch and kind of leave out what's happening here in this middle row and just do brown and like neutral and then the berry mixed in, and you know, you could bypass the peach idea entirely if you wanted to. I just really love this fusion of colors, and it really does make me think fall too. Like it makes me think of the trees that turn the most beautiful, rich, warm tones this time of year. You know, the ones that go reddish orange. I love that. So as you can see, I'm kind of not only patting Peach Sangria on the outer part of the lid, but I'm turning the brush so I can apply that a little bit to the crease. And then I'm going to grab the E25 brush and just blend that color around some more. Ooh, it's yummy. Oh, I just love the look of these colors on my lids. Oh, I swore I wasn't going to fall for another palette anytime soon, but my word, do I love this one. Oh, it's dynamite. Now, if you're saying, okay, that's a little loud for me on the lids right now, I need to just turn the volume down on that just a hair. I would say take a color like Peach Tart, this matte brown, and you can work a little bit of that into your crease here. And that can almost, I don't know, it's something about having a little more of a brownish shade in your crease as opposed to just the plummy color and the bright peachy shade on the lid. It can kind of anchor the look a little more. Oh, and it was no accident that I'm wearing a light peach and black striped shirt today, by the way. Oh yes, Mama gets real proud of herself when she actually plans a wardrobe idea for a video. I am sorry, but I am so in love with this eye look. This is on fire. Oh, I love it. Okay, then what do I want to put on the lower lash line? I think I'm gonna do a little like peach cobbler. Keep it warm. Peach cobbler is beautiful, beautiful warm brown. All these shades, they're just so pigmented. I think what I love so much is that they never really end up looking muddy. You know, they're all their own true to color, saturated, nice shades. And if you are like me, and you like your like plummy kind of rich burgundy shades, you are going to love this one right here. You're also going to love Just Ripe, because Just Ripe, while it did not have a starring role in this look, that color is gorgeous, and as it shears out, it can look a number of different ways. And then I'm going to take Peach Tart right here on the outside. So just keeping it a little darker there on the outer edge. And then I feel like I want to keep my lower inner rim a little bit bright, so I'm using my Wet n Wild Underbrow Ultimate Brow Highlight. This just perks up the eyes a lot if you're a little tired. Look at that, boom. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little black liquid liner across the upper lash line. I'm gonna put on my lashes. They will be the Cocoa lashes in the style Misha, a very like fluttery, soft, fanned out lash. And then we'll just share some finishing thoughts on the collection. So finished look, everyone. I mean, this is no doubt just a really lovely collection. I have been so impressed by so many elements in this line, actually. And just the finished look, I feel like my skin just looks soft without even touching it. I feel like it just looks like it would be soft and smooth and even. I'm just very pleased with the complexion products in this line. The eye palette is a total star for me. I had my eye on that from the moment I was seeing little sneak peeks that they were gonna do an all matte palette. These are my colors. I love the formula. So this thing, no more discussion needed. That's a fabulous palette. If I could only pick like 2 more essential products from this line, it would be the Comfort Matte Foundation. Really impressed by this. I think it's a full coverage look, has good staying power for me throughout the day. A little asterisk by this should be, I'm not sure how well it's gonna work for the super dry people out there, because given the amount of coverage that this has and that it's matte, I mean, I'm not sure. I'd love to hear from you in the comments section if you have really dry skin and you've used this. Did it work for you? Did it cake up on certain areas? But my skin is normal and sometimes dry in certain areas, but this wears very evenly on me, so I'm very happy with that. And I absolutely love the loose powder. This loose powder is awesome. The slight peachy tint to it, I think it's a great under eye setting powder. It looks beautiful all over the skin. Like, I could not believe just the matte veil that this gave. Now, if you're not into matte, then set this aside, but this is a very mattifying powder. If you like that look, sometimes I like the fully matte look, sometimes I want to look a little more dewy and glowy, but this is definitely in the matte category. So these 3 things, the palette, the foundation, and the loose powder, are my top favorites from this line. Now, a couple other things that I really like. I like the primer. I honestly think that this does what it says it will do. It's cooling, it's matte, it smells peachy. I really do enjoy it, and I think it added a little extra hydration, and it just paired really nicely under that very matte foundation. And then I like this blush, this shade called So Peachy. It's intense, it's long wearing. Like I said, I was kind of surprised that they came out with a cream formula amid all of the matte emphasis in this collection, but this does wear a really long time. This truly is a nice product, and I didn't have to go to a lot of work to like buff this in or get it blended in, but I loved using my e.l.f. small stipple brush to put it on. The bronzer and the highlight, they're okay. They're more cute than anything. I mean, they're adorable. The formula is interesting, but realistically, I can get that same look a lot easier and quicker with just a regular bronzer or contour shade, and then any number of highlights that I already have in my collection. Kind of feel the same way about the Sweetie Pie thing. I mean, it's so cute to look at. It gave me this kind of nice radiance to this look that was sort of lacking if you just had the foundation on, you know? So it's nice, but not a must-have. Feeling the same way about that Peach Blur finishing powder. I just didn't think it did that much for my skin. I thought the thing's giving me the main contribution to the matte, velvety, soft, peachy look on the skin were the powder and the foundation. Peach Mist, another one of those things. It's like, yes, I like it. Is it absolutely essential? Well, you know, I don't think so. I've got a lot of setting sprays. It's a nice little bonus that this smells like peaches, and I love the actual scent that is infused throughout all these products, so it's nice to have, but I wouldn't put it tops on your list to pick up, especially if you're trying to be choosy among the things that you do buy in this line. And do I love my lip color right now? Absolutely I do. I'm wearing, again, Sunday Funday and a little bit of doll face in the center of the lower lip. It's pretty packaging. It's a nice matte formula. I think it wears a long time, but when you're getting right down to it, is it unique? Not really. So you guys see what I'm trying to do is just sort of boil it down to the essentials in this video. I'm trying to get past the cuteness of everything because it all is so cute, and that scent can be downright hypnotic. But this is just my opinion, my take. I think there are a few must-haves in this line, but not everything is a total must-have. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for requesting this video. And I should also add, I have the Too Faced Candy Johnson I Want Candy releases as well. If you want to see a video on that, let me know in the comments section, and I will see you soon. Bye guys.